Hello, I'm Jeremy Browne from Henderson Reeves Lawyers. Well, a topical matter at the moment is redundancy. Redundancy is a situation where a position is superfluous to the needs of an employer. So in other words, it's focused on a position and not a person, and therefore shouldn't be used as a way of dealing with poor performers or troublesome employees. Redundancy must be genuine, i.e. the position is no longer needed in the business going forward. And an employer is entitled to take this view. Even if that position or that division is not losing money, they're entitled to reorganise their business in such a way as to make it more efficient, including by closing down whole work streams. But even if the redundancy is genuine, in order for it to be lawful, it must be carried out in a fair manner. And so here the law requires a good faith consultation process. In broad terms, this involves the employer putting forward a proposal to all affected employees which is detailed enough for them to be able to meaningfully comment on it, including by suggesting alternatives. That proposal should give the employees sufficient time to respond. In broad terms, probably about a week would be right, but it can be quicker, and in some cases it should be longer. The proposal should also remind employees of their ability to seek advice or have a support person, and perhaps it might be appropriate to offer EAP assistance or even counselling, given how stressful the process can be. The employer then must genuinely consider the responses from all affected employees before making a decision. Having gone through the process, if the employer decides that a redundancy is appropriate, then it needs to follow the requirements of the employment agreement in terms of notice periods and redundancy compensation. I should also add that if the employment agreement provides like a more specific process, then that's got to be followed to the letter. If you're an employer, I think it's a really good idea at the beginning to think about whether there are any alternatives to redundancy. Don't forget, it wasn't that long ago that most employers were saying, gee, it's really difficult to get good staff, and with redundancy you're kind of going to be losing someone who understands your business and your clients, and it's not easy to regain that institutional knowledge and the like when times pick up. So it may be that there are some alternatives, including people going down on hours, that can be used to keep the employees affected or potentially affected while the economy picking up. There can also be real issues to do with structuring it, like if you have 5 identical sale manager positions and you only need 4, then probably the right way is you actually make all 5 redundant, replace them with 4 new positions, and have the 5 affected staff apply for those 4 positions. And then there's got to be some thought as to selection criteria for that. All this should be thought out beforehand, really. There can also be some issues with the government wage subsidy scheme, whether that either prevents a redundancy or obliges the employer to refund. If you're an employee and you've been made redundant and you either feel that it wasn't genuine and that it was targeted at you as opposed to being a position that was no longer needed, or alternatively that the process wasn't fair, then it may be possible to raise a personal grievance and obtain remedies either by negotiation or through a proceeding in the Employment Relations Authority. There are quite strict time limits to do with raising a personal grievance and matters that have to be part of that. So it's a good idea to seek advice about those things. Here at Henderson Reeves, we act for both employers and employees and are very happy to help them through this process. We can help employers with thinking about structures going forward and the process, And if they only need their hands held, that's fine. And if they want us to carry them through the whole process, we're happy with that as well. If you're an employee and you've been made redundant, or alternatively the process is underway, then we can help review what's gone on to date, and if it's unlawful, we can raise a personal grievance on your behalf and look to negotiate a good solution for you. If the process is underway, we can help you with the response to the employer to maximise the chances of you retaining either that position or being redeployed elsewhere in the organisation. So if you'd like any assistance, please contact us. We're happy to help.